Hi, guys. Hope you're doing well today. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield, McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone who sent up prayers for me to get well. I'm getting better. Thank you for always asking and checking in with us. We appreciate that. Okay,
Well, I was going to do that and say, look who's back, but
we are.
yeah, a lot of people was concerned about Sheila. I'm thinking about getting sick myself to see if I can get any.
See if you can
I
get.
doubt it. They might
Oh,
be
sure
one.
you will.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We've we've missed being behind the scenes in a way.
Yeah.
One way we don't even have to get cleaned up or nothing. We can just same. You get the same results. You get the same story whether we're on camera or we're not.
Right. Right.
And what Sheila's going to do here in a second, she's going to cover us over there. In fact, with papers,
Mm-hmm.
because Sheila and I like truth through
Through proof.
proof.
Yeah.
Truth through proof. Guys, I see some people commenting on our videos and they say, well, Mike Elam said this or this one said that. We're not interested in what people says. If you want to post something that somebody else has got proof, they said there was videos out there. One of them did. Said there was videos where the deputies said everything happened exactly like Mike Elam said it happened like at Louise Hathcock shooting. That's totally false. That's incorrect. And I put on there to link the video, show the documents,
Mm.
show some
Mm-hmm.
proof. Mike Elam says that they only heard 3 shots. They didn't hear the one Louise shot. He tries to imply like somebody shot a shot of Louise's gun after she was killed. It's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work like that. In some people's minds, they watch so many movies and I think some people get reality mixed up with Hollywood. They really do.
Well, if you've got the title of State Line Mafia or the Queen of the State Line Mafia, whatever,
Mob, yeah.
mob, thank you, then, you don't get that title from being
Yeah.
polite.
Yeah. Yeah. PD Plunk said, I don't know how we got on this. This ain't even part of our agenda, is it?
No,
Me,
that's okay.
that's what we do, though. You never know what you're going to get, but this is furthest thing from our mind. I don't know how we got on this, but PD Plunk said that there was 4 shots. Um, it was exactly that he went out and got the bullet that she shot at Buford, missed and went through the window. She went out and he went out and got it out of the pole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what Mike says and what some people try to say as a story, we don't buy it, guys. We got to have proof. Other than that, you probably on the wrong channel. You probably need to be on Mike's channel. That's where Mike shovels it out there. If you guys want to do, I feel you. You're right. We like having you on our channel,
Yeah,
but
we do.
we like truth through proof, guys.
Yeah.
We're not. We don't want a speculation. We don't want heard this, heard that from somebody. We don't remember their names. We don't remember where they're from. We don't. They're dead now. They've been dead 50 years, but
Yeah.
they told me this, or
Mm.
we don't buy that. Sheila's going to put a paper up about right now on this screen, so
Okay.
you should be able to see it. And it says to Honorable Titus Lyle, reference Sheriff Pusser, from Dan Wollaby, date July 15th, 1975. Now, there's no letterhead. This is not from
Right.
the TBI or to the TBI or it's no letterhead.
Right.
Now it's going to
Mm.
say down here, counselor, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in reference of the aforementioned case
Mm.
was not that cooperative, considering they desire assistance from fellow law enforcement and private individuals. Since the case is over, 7 years old. 7 years old from 1967.
Mm-hmm.
1967 plus 7, what is that? 1974. What happened in 1974? Oh, that's right. Buford got killed. So 7 years later, somebody has typed up a paper here. Now, Sheila and I searched. We
Mm-hmm.
can't find a TBI agent. Doesn't mean it don't exist.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Doesn't mean that they don't exist.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
yeah. But we noticed one thing on here. I'm probably gonna get you off a track. It says it was date July the what's it say, 15th
Yep.
of 1975. However, um, that's when they did the report, right? And then they lost them in 76, or do I have it flipped?
Lost them in 76.
Okay.
The files were lost.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to, let's just go to it right now. Let's just show them. So Sheila's going to take this form down
Okay.
and she's going to put another one up here.
Okay.
And it says, now look at the top of this paper, first of all.
Okay.
Document sequence, document title 5-644. That's the Buford, Pusser, and Pauline case file.
Right.
Just because you see that typed on other papers, that doesn't mean they're real. It just means they typed that up there to make it seem like it is. But this one here's got Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. They did put the title up there, the letterhead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, babe. May the 18th. Can you see that? You got your glasses.
Probably.
May
May
the
18th,
18th.
1983.
And then it's got the case file and it says attention SA Special Agent John Sloan. Now we've gone over this paper many a times in some of our videos. And this is from Steve Watson, Special Agent in charge, and he's working the case file and evidence. He says reference to case 5-644, Pauline Pusser, victim. Now remember,
Mm,
they used to have the Pauline Pusser victim or they got it now. They used to have Pauline Pusser victim and Sheriff Pusser victim also.
right.
Well, they're regarding Pauline's file here. On May the 16th, 1983, the Jackson office was contacted by Mississippi authorities in relation to this case. Agent Jones, they're talking about Warren Jones, advised me that you came to Jackson office after returning to work for the TBI in 1976 and he turned the working case file and the evidence over to you. Now, why would you turn any evidence over to anybody? Evidence stays locked in the locker room,
Evidence locker.
evidence locker.
Mm-hmm.
Advise me as to the location of the four described articles and make arrangements to return them to the agent, special agent, or whatever he is, agent in charge,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Blackwell at Jackson, Tennessee. This memorandum needs immediate reply. Now that's the form. That's on that date. That
Wow.
was on May the 16th
Mm-hmm.
of 1983. What Sheila's getting to there a while ago, remember that paper we looked at a while ago that's floating around here today.
Mm-hmm.
It's floating all over the internet. It's everywhere. It was written in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
Says this happened 7 years ago, talking about the ambush in 1967. That paper was written in 1975. Here's 1983. You should be looking at it right now. Look at the date, 1983. They've lost the file. They've lost the file and they've lost the evidence. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Warren Jones has told Steve Watson here, he's told Steve Watson that I don't have that file and I don't have that evidence. I remember when Special Agent John Sloan had that case file and evidence. That's what Agent Jones advised me that you came to the Jackson office after returning to work in 1976. So I don't know if he's been off work hurt. if he's
Mhm.
went and took another job somewhere and then come back to work,
Mhm.
if he's been on leave, we don't know. But Agent Jones told Watson up here, the agent in charge, that Sloan had come and got the file and got the evidence, and that's who he gave it to. Let's go to the next one. She's going to put this next paper up here now. Look at the top, and it's got the case number, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. It's even got the date that it was received on.
Oh yeah.
It's stamped. Top right hand corner, received May the 26th, 1983. That's when it comes through the mail room. That's when memorandum.
Okay.
May the 23rd is when it was written. So this is uh, Sloan, TBI agent Sloan, and
Uh-huh.
he's writing back to agent in charge, special agent in charge, Steve Watson. Subject, case file, and evidence. Reference to the case file 5 644,
Mhm.
Pauline Pusser. The writer did receive one copy of one volume of file 5 644 sometime in 1976 or later,
Really?
in order to make a status memorandum as ordered when one had not been made in several years. Now, who ordered him to do that? Because Warren Jones was in charge of Sloan. They worked together, but Warren Jones was the senior officer. He was in charge. Warren Jones says that he gave the file and the evidence to Sloan.
Mhm.
That's what he said in his last letter.
Yep.
And Jones says that he was ordered to do an update. This writer was told to do a update, ordered when one had not been done in several years. Nobody had done an update. However, the writer knows of no physical evidence. The writer is
Mhm.
Sloan.
Mhm.
He's saying that I don't know of any physical evidence except the quantity of discharged 30 caliber carbine shells found in 1967 at the scene of the alleged homicide.
Mhm.
Well, we know Pauline didn't commit suicide.
Right.
We know she wasn't killed by accident.
Right. Right.
So it's not an alleged homicide. It's a homicide. Pauline was murdered. Now, their question, Mr. Elam's question 58 years later, is was she murdered by her husband, or
Mhm.
was she murdered by an ambush by bad guys? Well, she was murdered by bad guys.
Yeah.
The writer has not seen those shells since 1967, when it is believed that SA Special Agent Warren Jones sent them to Nashville TBI office.
Whoa.
Goes back to Warren Jones. Here's your corporate. This guy has already been either fired or let go or
Wow.
quit. We've never found out why he left the FBI. He worked for the FBI a little over a year
Uh,
as a fingerprint guy, and he left. Who leaves a federal job such as that voluntarily? We've been told several stories, none that we can.
validate.
It's been 58, 60 years ago.
Mhm.
We're not going to be like Mike Elam and speculate on that. We don't know. He could have very well quit and went home. We don't think so, but it could have happened. But there's a lot of questions with Warren Jones. If you'll go through history
Mhm. Yeah, I
from
agree.
the time he started investigating the 67 ambush to stories that came up later on. One guy even had a story concerning, I won't go there.
Yeah.
That's
Don't.
speculation. But there's a lot of telltale signs here that Warren Jones was probably not the most credible agent that the TBI had at the time. Maybe more credible than some sense, what we're seeing, but At that time, Warren Jones didn't seem to have a good reputation for trustworthiness or truthfulness because he threw Sloan under the bus. He said Sloan come and got that case
Mhm.
file and the evidence. Warren Jones says he never had the evidence. That Warren Jones,
Sloan said,
Sloan says he never had the evidence. I caught that about the time I could see your face.
You knew me, didn't you?
Oh, thanks for keeping me in line.
You're welcome.
Sloan says he never had any evidence, that he just took the file to update the case file.
Mhm.
He never handled no evidence, which would make sense. You don't check the evidence out of the locker room or the evidence locker, or
Yeah. It's
you,
under lock and key already, so why?
yeah, you wouldn't take that to update the file.
Right.
The evidence guy is in charge of the evidence that's locked away. That's in a different
Mhm.
area.
Okay.
But Sloan comes out and says here, he calls his hand on it, and he says that Special Agent Warren Jones, he thought that he believed that Special Agent Warren Jones had sent that to Nashville TBI office. He's giving Warren Jones a way out. You can tell he don't want to point his
Well,
finger and say you did this or you did
you had
that.
it last, or yeah.
That's the thing about politics. That's the thing about working in other departments. That's the thing about, and that's why in my later years, some people talks about Fred working for a smaller department after 16 years of larger departments. I went to a small department, and that's why you don't have the backstabbing, you don't have the jealousy, you just don't have that.
Mhm.
And you can tell that Sloan is trying not to make Jones mad. He's wanting to say Special Agent Jones had the evidence. I've never had any evidence.
Mhm.
He's even given them a way out. And he says, I believe that he sent that to the Nashville TBI office. Well, it's not what Warren Jones says. Warren Jones is pointing the finger at Sloan. And he says Special Agent Bob Goodwin
Mm.
was the firearms examiner at the time. So that's who I guess would have been signed off on the casings and who would have had it. But once again, you've got Warren Jones' credibility called into question here, we think,
Yeah.
we feel,
It sure sounds like it, don't it?
because Sloan says that he had the evidence. Now he's supposed to turn it over to evidence locker. He doesn't know that. He believes that he did, or he was told that Jones did. Right there's your guy that lost your evidence in my speculation, my book, my thinking, is Warren Jones.
Mm.
The thing that Sheila pointed out earlier is the
Yeah.
file that you're looking at. We're going to go back to it here in a second, but
Yeah.
that paper that we're looking at a while ago, 1975,
Right.
a year after Buford Pusser had died. He died
Exactly.
in 1974.
Mhm.
He says 7 years later. 7 years later, after Buford Pusser's dead, we start typing up reports. That's not the only question. These reports supposedly was lost.
Yeah.
1983, and that file and the evidence is gone, never to see no more. Where'd this come from?
Good question.
If this was lost before 1983, because that's when they're looking for it,
Mhm.
if this 1974, 75 paperwork was in that file, because they said they done it 7 years later,
Right.
but even 7 years later, it was before
No.
1983.
Mhm. It still doesn't add up.
It don't add up.
It's
I hope you guys, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
confusing.
It's not confusing. It's manipulation. It's fabrication. It's false. It's
Mm.
sad that the TBI has a reputation that goes as far back as Warren Jones in
Mhm.
1967. The same thing that happened in 1967 with the TBI and Warren Jones
Mhm.
and all these guys. Blackwell, who's the other one here? Name them all. The guy that's got the wanting the file. Um,
What's
Watson, Steve
Mhm.
Watson, special agent in charge. Who is it? See, Steve Watson's looking for the file, so we don't think it's him.
Right.
Why is he looking for the file for? The writer will be in West Tennessee on leave May the 30th through June the 5th and will find the case file as described and return it to agent in charge, Jack Blackwell.
Mhm.
It is probably in the locked file or storage cabinet in the old TBI office in Savannah, Tennessee. Now, if you'll remember, they go on in this new file that's out when the TBI was going to reopen this investigation after Mike Elam hooked them hook, line, and sinker, and he's reeling the TBI in with his book, and they've decided to take his book and put it into report form and call it an investigation. This file's still missing. This case, they've never found the file. They've never found the casings. They've never found Pauline's dirty clothing.
Yep.
They've never found her shoes. They never recovered the car that they released. They've never recovered the blood samples, any shell casings, any projectiles that was removed from that doorpost on the driver's side, at least 2 bullets
Mhm.
that were removed from there, and probably the one out of the dashboard that was stuck in the dash.
And what about this? Is I don't know about this one, but would they keep her skull part that they found in the ditch line,
Well,
or would
Sheila,
that
it
be?
wasn't in her autopsy. No, it's a great question.
Yeah.
It wasn't in her autopsy. If you'll notice the x-rays, that piece of her frontal temporal
Yeah.
skull is still missing, about a
Mhm.
4-inch square that come out when they shot her through the left side.
Mhm.
The bullet and the skull and the hair come out the right. Go ahead,
Right.
babe.
And it shattered that window there and landed in the ditch line, of course, with other things.
With some brain matter,
Mm.
which wouldn't be unusual. Mike Elam says, "Oh, he must have got him out of the car and shot her." No, no, you're going to see here in a minute when we go over another report where exactly what happened is what happened. But let's go on. Let's go. Here's she's going to show this in real fast. This is a Nashville, Tennessee Department of Safety memorandum. This is to the director
Ooh.
of the TBI, September 3rd, 1967. We've probably put this in another one of our videos, no doubt. From Warren
Yes.
Jones, agent and subjects. Pauline Pusser, victim. Sheriff Buford Pusser, victim. 1967, September. And he's talking about the blood types and the blood that they submitted to the lab. We're getting off topic here, but since she's got this paper up there, you should be looking at this one right now.
Mhm.
And since it's up there, it's where Warren Jones had sent this blood sample off the hood, and he had took a blood sample off the windshield and off the fender in different areas for blood sampling to type blood. What type blood is this? Whose blood is this on the hood? Well,
Mhm.
a bunch of it come back to Buford Pusser,
He
except
was, oh, right.
O, and she's A positive.
Mhm.
And I don't have it here, but we'll add that one into the second page.
Mhm.
And the second page is where it says inconclusive. The
Right.
blood on the hood and the windshield and the rear bumper is inconclusive.
Mhm.
Guys, we've asked people that does AI to take that dummy, those 2 dummies, when they done that experiment in that brand new Cadillac, or what looked like a new Cadillac, instead of a 1967 Plymouth Ferry. But take Pauline, instead of them sitting there looking at each other like this
Mhm.
and her head getting blown off and that blood going in the back seat,
Yeah.
turn her around to the front and do the same demonstration with
Yeah.
AI and watch where that brain matter and that blood comes to. Watch when they shoot her through the left hand side of the car, the passenger, either the back of the car
Mhm.
or the side of the car. Watch which direction that blood splatter goes, her brains. And when he got out of that car to go around, that's when the blood, beside his own blood coming off his chin
Yeah.
and jaw,
Mhm.
it's mixed in with hers. And that's why it came back inconclusive. When A positive and O negative or whatever it was mixes together,
Mhm.
You can't get a reading. It's going to be inconclusive. It's mixed. That's how her blood got on the windshield, on the hood. The man's 6'6" tall. He's a walking giant going around that car like he's on stilts. And everywhere that blood is coming off of her, he's
Yeah.
soaked. He's soaked. When they shot her, it soaked him. And the other piece of her brain that you were asking about, the other piece of her skull, went out the window along with the hair. I've worked cases where a guy shot a woman with a 30-30 rifle in her kitchen, and her skull went up, and it looked like wet toilet paper hanging down. How you take wet toilet paper and throw it up against the wall, and her skull was hanging down. When we come in, her hair was hanging down from the skull, from the ceiling, with a piece of
TMI.
with a piece of her skull. So
Oof.
the hair goes right with it. Some brain matter will go with it. Doesn't mean they're shot on the outside of the car. It means the
The
force,
force.
the
Yeah.
force of the bullet, the force of the power,
Yeah. Because that didn't stay in her head if she'd lost part of her skull.
the
So
suction,
the bullet
the
had to go clean through and out the
the
window.
suction, the force of going, and then the bullet following on through.
Hmm. To
Is it
projection.
going to
Yeah.
get some of that liquid, some of that brain matter to follow it? We're not talking buckets. Well, Mike Elam says, "Oh, there was two handfuls." I doubt it. I kind of doubt too. You can't go by everything people says. You can't go by nothing Mike Elam says, in my opinion. In my opinion, you can't believe nothing Mike Elam says. Mike Elam is not a man of truth. He may be a lot of things, but to me, he's not known for telling the truth.
Okay. Uh, and where we at now?
So since they didn't have her skull,
Yeah.
her piece of skull in her
And the
autopsy,
evidence thing. Yeah.
then
Whatever.
I
Yeah.
don't think they ever returned it. I think they've trashed that or done something with it.
Done
Who
away.
knows?
Yeah.
They've done away with it.
Or they could have put it maybe in her casket. Maybe.
No, it would have been there when they done the autopsy. That's what
Mm,
I'm saying. You would see a full skull there. Skull, right?
correct. Yeah.
Guys, she's going to put this front page back up here again for you
Okay.
now. You're going to be looking at it again
Okay.
because we have read down to where it says law enforcement and private individuals. Since the case is over 7 years old, this case is closed. Buford Pusser is now dead.
Mhm.
The case against him is gone. He's dead. This case was an ambush. They can still keep looking for the bad guys if they want. Please find attached hereto a number of documents relevant to the case at hand and set forth an explanation on the evidence codes. In the 1967 Plymouth, the TBI found the following. Now, guys, if these all this stuff has been gone in 1983, at least 1983, where'd this come from? Where'd this report come
Mhm.
from? We don't have any other reports other than the kind that's typed up with no letterhead, with like their Buford's statements, like their Moffitt's statements, Plunk's
Signatures.
statements, no signatures, no witnesses, no nothing. We've got things like that that's been typed up, but we have got no statements. So that file is gone. That stuff is missing. This stuff here was written up later on. 5 bullet holes in the car. I'm not going to read all this. I'll let you go down through there reading this um, because I have got one more. Yeah, here we go. Specification: the driver's window was rolled down. See, Buford's window in his car was good. His window was rolled down. So it tells me that it was a nice fall August morning. He's got his window rolled down. The passenger, and the reason your door was not shot, there was no bullet holes in the door. Why would there be bullet holes in the door? Because the shooter was as close as me and Sheila. He's hanging out this car,
Mm-hmm.
and Buford's driving right there. It's not like you saw on that so-called reenactment where a guy's over here on a tripod
Right. No,
50 feet away shooting.
they were side by side.
They're side by side. Sheila's going to show you something interesting here in a minute about the bridge. Mike Elam says there's no way two cars could have passed on that bridge. That's
Mhm.
how close they were.
Mhm.
Two cars did pass on that bridge, and they were shooting while they were passing. Sheila will show you that.
Yep.
His window was down. Somebody says, why didn't they shoot through the door? Why would they? They're right there at him. They're shooting right at him.
Mhm.
But his window glass was never broken. They never shot through the door. They hit the door post behind his head two or three times and over
Mhm.
top.
Mhm.
The passenger door window was shot out along with the left and right rear side windows. Now, the passenger window on the rear behind Buford,
Mhm.
it was shot out,
Right.
and so was the
That's
passenger window on the other side
mhm.
and the passenger side
Up
window up
front.
front.
Mhm.
Those three windows were shot out. There was 5 bullet holes in the back windshield. Follow me along here. Most bullets entered from the rear and driver's side of the car with itinerary across to the passenger
Your
side.
side.
And there is a probable bullet strike on the right side with blood splatter on the door, ventilator, and the right side car hood at the second ambush site.
Second ambush. Hmm.
I want to read you this.
Okay.
Read the next line down if you're following. It says, from the coroner's inquest. From the coroner's inquest, we could have missed it.
Mhm.
We've been all over this case for the last month and a half, 2 months, but what coroner's inquest? We've never seen a coroner's inquest. Coroner's inquest? The passenger, the decedent, Pauline, was found resting against the right door with her head hanging partially out the window. Really? Is that what the ambulance drivers said when they said Buford tried to drive off? Is that what Hugh Kirkpatrick said when he told Buford he'd clean his gun because he had all that blood in his lap? Pauline was laying in Buford's lap. She had fallen over in his lap. He's holding on to his wife. He's got his wife holding on because he knows she's dead.
No.
But it says here in the coroner's inquest that the decedent was found resting against the right door with her head hanging partially out the window. She received one bullet wound to the neck and 2 fatal bullet strikes to the parietal and fracture to the optical cranial of the skull. There was no autopsy. Does anybody remember in the autopsy done this year, 2025, where they said that Pauline had a bullet wound in her neck? The only thing they would confirm was that she had one bullet hole in the back going from back to front from a
Mhm.
high velocity round. Could have been more,
Mhm.
could have been multiple because of damage. They can't tell all that. But nobody said anything
Mm-mm.
about Pauline being shot through the neck. Now, this was a coroner's inquest.
Wow.
They're saying we don't believe it. Or Warren Jones may have done it himself and said, "Daggone it, we've lost the whole Buford Pusser file." And then he started typing statements from Buford Pusser. Buford said this, Buford said that. Here's my chance to get back at Buford. I didn't like him anyway. He's dead now. He's not here to correct me. He's never going to know. I'm talking hypothetically. I'm
Right. Right.
speculating. It's my opinion, but I do believe it. And then he said, well, now let me get Moffett in here. I'll get his chief deputy a statement from Moffett said that he told this investigator that. And that's how it got started. Because you got to
Mm-mm-mm.
understand, the TBI is certainly not your most trustworthy law enforcement agency. Back then, it don't look like, and certainly not in 2025, in my opinion. I won't add her. In my opinion, certainly not the most credible, guys. The so-called director of the TBI, until he's fired, and they start out with fresh blood, they're never going to be credible. They're never going to be credible again if that's who they employ as their director. And he comes up with stuff like him and his investigators did. Sometimes investigators just go along. Not everybody has the goal to stand up to a director and say, hey, we're not going to do this. We're not going to play this game. So I'm still hoping one day that some of these investigators, because there's plenty of them, all it takes
Mhm.
is one whistleblower to stand up and say, hey, you're
Yeah,
right.
it can happen.
You're right. We were directed in that direction. We were told to do this. We were told that was our narrative, and we went for it because we had a supervisor, we had a director, we had a boss. That's my opinion. Time will tell. Time will tell when Mr. Roush is passed on or Mr. Davison is passed on and not there to stand up for themselves. Somebody may come out then and say, "Hey, we were told this, we were told that," and then they're thinking, wow, how can anybody do that? How can we do that to their memory? Oh, wow, that sure makes them look so bad. Well, it's called what comes around goes around. It's called reaping
Reaping what you
what
sow.
we sow. I look for it to happen one day. And those guys or girls will be heroes when
Mhm.
it happens. Their credibility will go through the roof because they stood up
For what was
and went
right.
against the
Mhm.
grain. There was no autopsy. Note, from what I have seen, I believe Miss Pusser survived the first ambush and was killed at the second. Well, I'll tell you what I believe. We've got at least two bullet holes, possibly three. You've got two holes in the back of the head
Mhm.
in that
Mhm.
one x ray, two holes. And then you got the side of her head blown out
Yeah.
and with the exit wound out the other side that would have went out her
Window.
window
Mhm.
and into that ditch.
Mhm.
So we've got at least three shots into Pauline's head. Now he says, this person does, that I believe she survived the first ambush and was killed at the second. Really? Really? Which one of those bullet wounds at the first ambush did she? The two to the back of her head or the one through the side with the whole side of her head gone? Which one of them three bullet holes do you think she survived that she didn't die until the second ambush? That woman was dead from that first
Yeah.
bullet that went through her head.
God love her heart.
Or you've never seen a head wound with a handgun or a rifle, especially a rifle.
Mm.
Though your copy has some redactions, the TBI did find 14 shell casings between both ambush sites and 11 bullet holes in the patrol car of the McNairy County Sheriff. Go ahead, babe. I see you thinking over
Oh,
there.
14. Okay. So where are they at? Because up there earlier, they said they'd found somebody said they found like 30 cal.
They found the, well,
How many they say they found?
they've
Like
said anywhere
10
from
or
15, 14,
okay.
15, and they said there's 11 in the car. Well, you've got three in Pauline's
Yeah.
head. You've
Yeah.
got 2 to 3 in Buford.
Yeah.
Because once the windows was
Mhm.
broke, you don't know where the other casings went. You don't know what was in the back seat. You don't know who had the M1
Mhm.
and who had the high velocity. Remember, the coroner said, the pathologist said that it was a high velocity round. A 30 caliber is not a high velocity round. Even in their dummies that they did, those bullets stayed in those
Mhm.
dummies' heads. Those
Yep.
dummies are as close to human as you can get.
Right.
None of those 30 cals, except the one he put right up against the head, went out the other side. They
Mhm.
all stayed in the head.
Mhm.
So somebody was in the back seat that had a 30-06, 30 caliber, still 30 cal,
Mhm.
but it's the 30-06. It's a high velocity round. And they either had a bolt action, and when the round would come out, it would go into the floor,
Yeah.
or they was ejecting them inside the back seat instead of out on the highway.
Okay. Wow.
11 bullet holes in the patrol
This girl
car.
doesn't add up.
Now, if you look, and she's going to post a picture here of this car again when they're coming down this straight stretch at the second ambush site, in between the first and the second, somewhere down through there's where her head was blown off from the driver's side as the car come up beside of them, hit her in the side of her head.
Mm-hmm.
That blood would have come over on Buford, and he's laying over in the seat by then too, trying to
Trying to,
hunker down.
yeah, yeah.
She's unloaded on him,
Mhm.
and then her front temporal went out that front window with that bullet. And that's the ditch line. If you'll look where that car is parked right now, that's where Dennis Hathcock says that he put his kickstand down on his motorcycle. When he did, he saw her skull
Pauline's
and
girl.
hair laying in the ditch. Now,
Yeah.
what he'd be doing looking in the ditch on a motorcycle facing the same direction as that car, he's facing towards Shamrock.
Okay.
So his kickstand would have been over here on the driver's side, on the left side of his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have been looking down at his kickstand on this side
Exactly. Right.
unless he knew what was there, unless he knew the general area that something had happened in.
Taking place. Yeah.
And he went looking around, said, "Oh, look here, here lays her head."
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions, guys. There's that second page, babe. There's page 2. Inconclusive.
Okay. Yeah.
Human blood. Group being tested conducted on the human blood, and specimens 1 and 3 were inconclusive. That's the hood and the windshield was inconclusive
Wow.
because they come back, the blood had been mixed. Well, it's mixed because her blood is now all over him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the FBI. The FBI was sent this blood sample, and that's what they come back with. Now I'm going back to this other page. You
Okay.
may have to edit here. If not,
Yeah,
we'll
you
see how
can.
fast I can get there. There's that page.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the pages we just went over in the last 2 or 3 videos.
Mm-hmm.
She's just gonna flash them on the screen,
Okay.
and all it is some writing from Blackwell as a criminal investigator. This one here says 1967, August the 12th, 1967. Really? Really? Because the file hasn't been seen since 1976.
Right.
Remember, Warren Jones says that Sloan, John Sloan, had last checked that file out in 1976. They're trying to find this file in 1983, so that nobody's seen this file since 76 to 83, and they haven't seen it to 2025 now. Now, they may very possibly, just like this right here turned up, you're liable to see one turn up. I wouldn't put nothing past. It's the most uncredible agency.
No letterhead, no signatures, no initials.
And and guys, now Sheila is going to post a picture. That's going to do it on that.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, when you see these papers and you see these things that Mike Elam holds up, and he says, "I want you all to read these. I hope you go over these real good because it's going to tell you exactly what." That's the one I wrote. That's the one that I wrote on an old typewriter, on a not an old typewriter, on old typewriter font. I was actually going to buy an old typewriter to do it. Sheila found some old typewriter font from the 60s. The keys are off and everything else, just like what it would be like in the old days.
Yeah.
So when you see him says, read the report, read the document, read the statement, that's not, guys. That's you're reading. He very possibly even could have written this. Mike Elam could have done. Mike Elam says he's been after this for 20 years.
He's been pushing it for 20 years.
He could have come up with these and went to the TBI and said, yeah, Sloan gave these to me. Warren Jones gave these to me. Blackwell gave these to me. I've had these. Well, we don't even have that in our file. Yeah, yeah. I got it before that probably. It's all going to come out. It'll all come out in the wash.
It always does.
It'll all come out when these suits are filed. More suits, not just against Roush and Davison, the TBI and the district attorney's office, because see, they've got immunity to a certain point.
Mhm.
But I believe this goes beyond immunity. I believe this goes into malicious prosecution, the slander and the libel.
Mhm.
I believe it goes into a lot of different negligence and recklessness and carelessness.
Yeah.
I really do.
We were going to talk about the ambush site on the road there and the bridge. I was looking at some pictures of the scene after the event had took place. And to me, the road there looks wide enough to where two cars can pass. Because you can see one car sitting on this side of the bridge there, and there's enough room between that car and the ditch line or the edge of that bridge to where two cars could possibly pass
And
on that
you're going to
bridge.
show that picture about
I'm gonna
right.
now,
Okay.
and that way you guys can look at it and see if I'm off
You're
on
not off.
that
You're not.
because it certainly looks wide enough to me
You're not
that two
off.
cars could have passed.
Not only can two cars pass there, but there's a little bit of buildup on each side of the road if they drop off the road.
Mhm.
Look at your highway. Look at your gravel. Look how it stays the same width around that curve all the way down. It doesn't cut
Mhm.
in or go to one lane.
Right. Right.
That's a two-lane bridge.
Yeah, it looked like it. And I don't remember who said this, but didn't somebody say they picked up shells off the bridge?
Oh, they said they picked up a pile. They was just in a pile
There you go.
with some glass,
Mhm.
and that was the guy that was plowing his garden at
Yes.
4:30 in the morning. He said
Uh,
he saw that at 4:30 in the morning when Carl Pusser didn't get the first call until 4 o'clock. They wanted Buford to come out on New Hope Road,
right.
and Carl said, "I'm not getting them up," and he didn't call and get Buford up.
Because he knew they were going on vacation. And so he didn't want to interfere with their vacation time, them leaving, heading out.
So an hour later at 5 o'clock, after they seen ever who was out there that was going to follow Buford from his house, they called back and they called Buford this time.
Right.
What's the Mike Elam really brings it up. He talks all the time on his bus tours, and Mike Elam says, Why did he go New Hope Road way when he could have taken 45 all the way down to Shamrock, all the way down to the county line? Because the call, if you look at PD Plunk's, and if you don't care, put that in right. But look, read PD Plunk's newspaper article. This isn't somebody
Mhm.
that's talking in 2025. This is 1967 when it happened. This is fresh on everybody's mind. PD Plunk says the call that came in said, Buford, come out on New Hope Road and you're going to find something interesting. If you don't find it, come on down to Hollis's,
Mhm.
Hollis's Club on the state line. Come out on New Hope Road, you're going to find something interesting. If you don't find it, come on down to Hollis's. Well, why would Buford, the question to Mike Elam is, why would Buford go out to 45 and go to Hollis's and then come up New Hope Road? The call was, according to PD Plunk,
Mhm.
that would have known this was fresh on everybody's mind, come out New Hope Road. Now, going back to Sheila's point, Mike Elam says there's no way two cars could have passed on that bridge. There's a straight stretch before that bridge. There's a little curve off the bridge, and then there's a straight stretch.
Mhm.
It's where it all took place. The guy says that he was out there 4:30 in the morning going to plow his garden and found a pile of rounds of casings. Wouldn't have been out there at 4:30. Buford didn't leave his house till five
Didn't
o'clock in the
happen
morning.
to yeah. Yeah.
Guys, there was a narrative here.
I
Mike
agree.
Elam's had a narrative for years. He's made money off of this.
Mm.
This is it's not truth to agenda or whatever it
Uh,
is.
Truth
His
has no
his
agenda.
agenda is selling books, selling podcasts, selling books on his bus tours, getting donations on his bus tours. If you think he does those bus tours for what he calls free, then you would probably believe that. If anybody believes that, you're probably watching the wrong channel because nobody in this world does nothing for free anymore. Mike has worked on this for years. Mike has worked on this so long that right now he can't believe that somebody is out here figuring out that these copies of these papers are still not, never been discovered. The file is still gone. It's never been found. Somebody typed these up. Now, is it Warren Jones or is it Mike Elam? We don't know. Sheila and I just don't know.
Right.
Is it either? We don't know.
Right.
We have our opinion, and people has had, imagine 20 years. Imagine 20 years to go back and get you can go to the flea market today and find a 1960s
Typewriter.
typewriter. You can do that. They're out there. Type whatever you want. Looks authentic. Don't put nothing but a name so they'll think that it came from that person. You can't put no signature because if you put a signature, signatures are too easy to
Compare.
compare and verify and confirm. Go get a payroll check, go get anything, and you can compare. So you can't have a signature. That's why none of these so called statements have signatures. That's called a clue, guys. You got to throw stuff like that out the window. That's not evidence. That's trash. There's no way, nobody, no judge, nobody of any credibility, excluding Mr. Davison and Mr. Roush, would even let somebody by with calling that evidence, especially when they have lost the original file.
Mm-hmm.
They have lost the original file and all the evidence pertaining to it. And then they're going to stand up there and say a man murdered his wife on what Mike Elam has written in a book or sits there and says on a podcast that nobody calls him out on. Now, Mike Elam says him and PD Plunk had this gun they think it's come from O'Neill and they think it's stolen. They even think that it's probably used in the ambush, which we do too. Sheila and I do too now. We think it was. They can't prove it now. They ain't got no cases because they lost the evidence. But with PD Plunk telling Ricky Plunk what he told him, and Ricky being suspicious of that gun either being stolen and or used in the ambush, we think that tells us enough.
Yeah. I, I agree with you. This is just not adding up, and it's sad that they can take someone's name like that and just destroy it. Just shred it.
Hopefully people will take a stand now.
Let's hope
It's
so.
time to either poop or get off the pot. It's time to either do something or just say, Mike, have at it. You've got the free reign. You can say anything you want. Nobody's going to sue you. Nobody's going to say nothing to you. Because Mike has made some derogatory, slanderous, defamatory comments. Listen, I use my opinion. I speculate. There's a difference in speculating or saying that's my opinion than there is for Mike Elam to come out here and say that Buford Pusser walked on both sides of the law. He got paid $1,400 a month. Now he ended up killing Louise. That was his payday. Boy, he wasn't very smart, was he? Woman's paying him $1,400 a month, and he ends up shooting her. Daggone it! Oh, wait a minute. There goes that check. Didn't happen, guys. Mike Elam's. That's in Mike's mind. He's a legend in his own mind. But there's no law against being a legend in your own mind. There's no law against expressing your opinion until you say that Jim Moffitt helped Buford Pusser while he was cheating on his wife. He's a cheater and he helped him. That's slanderous. That's defamatory. But
Against
how
both.
about how about against both? Yeah.
Against both men.
But what about when you come out and say Jim Moffitt knew? He knew that Buford Pusser killed Pauline. He knew it. He told everybody about it. Really? He didn't tell Abernathy. He didn't tell Warren Jones. He didn't tell anybody that it would have mattered to, that's for sure. And if he did tell, who's the guy's name that he had on here? Blackwell?
Uh-huh.
If he did tell Thomas Blackwell, the one you say it's in that statement, then Blackwell's a criminal. He fits right in with the TBI. If he told Blackwell that Buford had told him he killed his wife and that he knew Buford killed his wife and he knew Buford done this and Blackwell wrote up a report on it and never took it to a grand jury, never indicted Buford while he was alive.
They would have done something during the time that Buford was alive in order to get justice for Pauline, not after she's gone
Yeah.
and after he's gone.
While Buford's alive. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what you said.
Yeah, while Buford was alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Not wait till he's dead and then come out 1975 and say, well, here's a report. This happened 7 years ago, but we're going to make another report here now. But see, ever who wrote this forgot that the file, they don't, may not have known it. May not have known it till this file came out. TBI's biggest file is they're going to be their biggest letdown.
Yeah.
TBI shot themselves in the foot because some of this stuff that's in this file, like the 2 pages there that Sheila put, where the file's missing. Oh, I'll try to find it. I thought he had it. No, he said you had it. Oh, okay, I'll look for it, but I didn't have no evidence. And then the file's missing in 83, but somebody comes up and writes a report in 1975 and 76
Exactly.
and
Only thing
1967.
Yeah.
Blackwell, it says his reports wrote up in 1967 that Moffat told Blackwell.
And it should have been with the missing files, the other missing files.
It would have been with the missing file.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is, you've got the prosecutor on there asking anybody that's got any evidence, tell us, tell me. And then he comes out in the newspaper and says, this is
rumors,
unfounded,
no basis.
Nothing but rumors. Buford says, take my gun, test my gun. Mike Elam says in this last video that Carl said the gun wasn't there, that Buford sold his gun. Listen, about 5 or 6 videos back, Mike Elam says that Buford gave him a 30 caliber M1, but he had 2 of them, and he gave him a different one than what he used. He says now Carl Pusser says the gun wasn't in the trunk because Buford had sold it. But yet, in the own TBI's own report, it says that Buford requested TBI agent Sloan, take this gun and have it tested if you would, please. All these rumors are going around and I want them to stop. And they sent the gun off. Sloan did that. He sent the gun off to the FBI. They done a ballistics test and the test come back that it was not the gun. Well, when it come back that it wasn't the gun, now Mike Elam says, okay, well, he must have had 2 guns then. Well, if he did, Ricky Plunk's got the other one. If he did, if he's got 2 guns, then Ricky Plunk, PD Plunk has got the second one.
And they
are we going to say 3? Are we going to say now, wait a minute, oh, he must have had 3 M1s. Go ahead, buddy.
Did they come back and say that that gun didn't match? Or was
no, Buford had
consistent? No, the Plunk's gun.
Buford, that gun wouldn't have been around then. If what Mike Elam says, Mike Elam says that PD Plunk went the day that Buford's got his head blowed off and called on the phone and said, go get that gun out of my trunk. So 2 months later, he wouldn't have that gun. Plunk got that gun because Plunk still had the gun when Buford died and he gave it to his son, Ricky. So that gun would have been in Plunk's care. The possession. The gun that Buford gave Sloan was his gun. After that gun come back that it was clean, then Mike Elam said, wait a minute. He had 2 guns. Well, if he did, Ricky Plunk's got it because that's the second gun. Unless Mike Elam now says, wait, Fred and Sheila had done a video and they said that Plunk had one and Buford gave the other one to Sloan. Wait a minute. Watch in another month, you'll see a video come out of Mike Elam's and say, well, now there was 3 guns because, there was as many as what Moffat take, O'Neill, 8, was it 8? 8 M1s and 46 and 46 shotguns was stolen. Now those 8 M1s, as quick as the government gets open back up, surely there's going to be some federal agents that checks the courthouse there in Jackson, starts checking the files. There's also some military people that's got access to some military, and they're going to start checking military bases and records and Air Force records and see if they can find anywhere where that serial number comes up, and then we'll get asked why, which that question is going to come up anyway when it goes to court.
Yeah.
I'm sure the attorneys is going to ask, what's the time on here, baby?
Hour.
Hour. Okay. You're up, baby.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Glad to be back on here, guys. We hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Bye.